Definitely feeling third party energy for some people here with the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I'm also feeling a karmic lesson that perhaps wasn't learned, and that this person came into your life to help you learn. So what Spirit is also saying is, if you want to complete this cycle, meaning not have a new person come in to reenact this with all over again, make sure that you've internalized the lesson. Make sure that you have learned what it is that they came in to teach you, that this situation came in to teach you. It could have been about self-respect. It could have been about boundaries. It could have been, for some of you, it was about trusting your gut because you knew something was off for a really long time, but you didn't call it out. You didn't do anything about it because you didn't want to rock the boat. Perhaps you were comfortable in your uncomfortability. Perhaps you didn't want to look like the asshole in this situation. Could be any reason, right? So for you, this is about learning to speak your truth. It's about learning to call things out when you see them and to act upon your gut, to act upon what you know. Right? Because this wasn't just something where you had like a little sneaking suspicion. This was like a constant pang in your gut telling you that something was off, telling you that something was wrong. And for some of you guys, maybe you've been gaslit your whole life, right? Maybe you came from narcissistic parents. Maybe you've been through a lot of these types of relationships where you literally were taught that you could not believe your own reality. You could not trust what your eyes and your ears and your gut and your heart were telling you. And so this is your opportunity to step into that. So if you didn't, start practicing that in little ways in your everyday life, all right? And for some of you who are finding this is your get out of jail free card. Okay. Spirit is letting you know, if you do this, you won't have to repeat another one of these narcissistic relationships. Okay. Start paying attention to your gut. When you meet another person, and that could be for some of you what this energy is here. Okay. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse under that with the Tower and the Knight of Wands. All right. This person, for some of you, is going to come in hot. They're going to be promising you the moon. You're going to have this electric charge, this chemistry between you, but there's going to be something off about the connection. There's going to be red flags everywhere. So if you recognize those red flags and you do not jump into this connection, relationship, whatever, situationship, you will have passed, for lack of a better word, we can call it the test, right? You will have shown that you have gained the wisdom. Wisdom is applied knowledge. The wisdom to no longer fall into these scenarios, to fall into these traps. And once you do that, you will be free. Right? You may have to do this a few times because, like we said, our current reality is a mirror and there is a lag time. Right? So your current reality is reflecting to you your past beliefs, thoughts, actions, vibration, not your current one. This is changing as the energies on this planet are shifting, but this is still to a certain extent the case. All right. So you got to stay consistent with this energy of noticing the red flags, walking away, noticing the red flags, walking away. I was in a narcissistic abusive relationship for many years of my life, off and on, right? I would leave and then I would come back, and then I would leave and then I would come back. And eventually I cut this person out of my life completely. And I moved to a different town, and I was able to move on. All right. They tried to snare me back in. Door was closed. All right. No interaction. From that point on, anytime I noticed a man displaying these certain tendencies, this jealousy, this possessiveness, these certain qualities, I was gone. That was it. There was no second chance. There was no, maybe he didn't mean it. There was, okay, fuck that. I'm out. All right. That's the energy you need to employ here. And then I stopped having those types of relationships, those narcissistic abusive relationships anyway. I still dated some borderline narcissists, we could say, emotionally unavailable. I had a type. All right. But the straight up abusive energy of that type, the abusive controlling energy, that dynamic, at least I was able to nip in the bud and avoid completely from that day forward. All right. That's what you have to do. And sometimes you got to stay consistent with it. Not sometimes, always, right? It's just like anything else. So notice those red flags, act upon them immediately, get the fuck out of that situation. All right. Before it becomes a situation. Got me? That's it. That's all you got to do. That's what the test is. And let's see what happens when you do that. Hierophant, spiritual upgrade, leveling up. This could also be commitment. So this could be somebody coming in. But honestly, what's the best person that you can have come into your life? You. The strongest, most highly evolved and empowered version of you. That's what we're looking for here. That is relationship gold. It's not about somebody on the outside. It's about you loving you, you being connected to you, you being in a beautiful, honest, accountable, supportive relationship with you. Once you do that, that's when that follows on the outside, all right? But we have to do it for ourselves first. We have to feel and know that we are worthy of that first before we can draw that in, before we can have that reflected back to us, we could say. All right, yeah, Hierophant and strength, all right? This is like bulletproof, solid empowerment. This is knowing your worth. This is fucking royalty here, all right? This is knowing that you are royalty and living according to that. You are somebody who is worth being adored, spoiled, looked up to, right? A role model. This is turning into a whole different reading here. I love this because it's like when you level up in terms of your love life here, you level up in terms of everything. I always say the two most powerful reflections of our self-worth are our relationships and our finances. Those two things are directly tied into our sense of self-worth. So when you stop accepting less than you deserve, when you step out of whatever this toxic cycle is that you're breaking, right? It might not be narcissistic abuse. It could be something else, whatever it is, right? You signify to the universe that you are ready to level up in all ways. And that opens up the floodgates for you when it comes to absolutely everything in your life. But like we said, what matters most is that you feel strong, stable, secure within yourself. This is Taurus. This is Leo energy. These are fixed signs, fixed energy. That steadfast energy and that commitment. This is about making a commitment to yourself and following through. That's the first commitment that we like. That's the most important commitment that we can ever make. When we make a commitment to ourselves and we follow through, we tell the universe that we're ready for it to do the same, right? That we are setting the template for everything else in our lives that follows. So this is so, so powerful. Whoever you are so, so powerful. You are about to see, to feel how truly powerful you really are. All right. It's also a preview, I feel like, for Chiron moving into Taurus, which is going to happen, I think, in 2026, definitely by 2027. All right. So I'm going to leave that there. All my astrology buffs will know what I'm talking about there. All right. Love you.